Welcome to another episode of Cutie Cute Cards and Crafts. Today is another Christmas episode, and today I'll be featuring Frosty Fairy Friends, the stamp set from Lawn Fawn. I'm only going to be using that one stamp and a couple sentiment word stamps at the end. I'm using Canson's watercolor paper cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I am making a customized background for my card. This is going to be a very quick and easy card. It's not going to be too involved, just a couple of steps, and then it's done. That is VersaFine Onyx Black ink, which is great for watercoloring. It doesn't smear, doesn't run, doesn't get all like runny, and doesn't blend in with the paper, doesn't react to the water. So once you hit it with the heat tool and get it nice and dry, it's perfect and you're ready to color. So in my head, I've got this vision of it being just like roughly painted, abstract-y type painted background scene, and then I put the paint to the paper and I was like, ew, this is not coming out right. And it was not looking at all like what I had in my head. And mind you, I have just started. I'm just barely putting the red on the berries, and I'm already thinking to myself, no. But you know what? I'm going to keep going. And I kept going because I wanted to make sure that, if it was all said and done and it was finally all complete, if I still didn't like it, then I was going to scrap it. But I did like it a lot. So just a word of advice, if something that you're doing, like, if you have an idea that's in your head and you're trying to put it down on paper and you're trying to make it become a reality, and if at first it just doesn't look right, keep going. Because in the end, it'll, you never know, it might turn out even better than you expected. So now I am adding some brown to the branches, where I kind of wish that I used green on the branches, just, to keep with the Christmas red and green type theme, but I think this is okay too. I mean, it's still kind of, it has the holiday type feel to it, and with the sentiment, it'll be fine. So now, once that gets going, I'm just going to hit that with the heat tool and make sure that's completely dry, because then I will be going through the entire background and coloring it a nice light blue. I'm just making sure everything's dry. Yep, all dry. And then I'm going to hit it with a nice light blue. And as you can see, I still didn't follow any of the lines. Still just kind of doing a rough color, just making sure like the spots that I wanted colored are colored. So now I'm just going to go through with the lightest blue, and I'm going to roughly color it. I like the look of like the splotchy, uneven coloring. I like the look of having certain areas pool up with the watercolor, and the way those lines kind of form when the pooled up areas of paint dry. So you see I kind of load up my brush with water and paint, and then from then on I kind of just like pounce the paint around to where I want it to go, and where in some places it'll pool up and some places it won't, and then I kind of let that, I think this time, sometimes I'll let it air dry, but I think for the sake of time I hit this with my heat tool when I was done. But I love the uneven, how much you can get so much texture just by using one color. And so you can see where things are uneven, where the paint pools up. It's my favorite look. So now I'm just, see, I hit this with my heat tool. And then make this dry. And I think I don't know if I mentioned it before, or if I mentioned it in the previous takes I've made of this video's voiceover, which I think I'm up to like take 4 of this voiceover. But that piece of paper is Canton's watercolor cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And so now I'm going to trim it down. I'm going to trim it down 1/4 of an inch on each side because I'm going to mat it down with some black cardstock. And that black cardstock is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then once that is all glued down, it's going to go in front of the card base, so there's going to be a little bit of a white border around the entire card front. So it's almost has a look of a multi-layered card. And and then I'm going to do the sentiment. And once I get this done, I've since filming this video, I've recreated this card, and after I finished the background, I added some Wink of Stella clear like shimmer, and put the shimmer on top of the berries, and it looks super cute. And I wish I had done it for this card, but everything was all set, and I had just found the Wink of Stella pen after filming this, so I couldn't go back anymore. We already went on vacation. I did film this before vacation, by the way, so that's why I'm kind of bumbling with the voiceover, because it's like I'm kind of getting used to it all again, and I haven't seen this video in so long. So now I'm just grabbing some of the words from the Lawn Fawn stamp set. And what's great about Lawn Fawn stamp sets is that when she does these kind of sentiments, she makes them on like rectangular blocks. So they're perfectly spaced, so all you have to do is just butt up all the rectangles up against each other, and they line up perfectly. So then you just have to line them up against the grid of your stamp block, which I'm doing off camera. And see, it says have a magical holiday, and everything kind of lines up perfectly, and then so it makes it really easy to put sentiments together. And that's one of the things I really love about Lawn Fawn stamps. And now I'm just stamping it on some white cardstock, which is some scrap cardstock I have lying around. Just going to trim it off, and then I'm going to trim it off with the paper cutter, my paper trimmer, to make sure it's nice and straight. And then I'm going to line it up onto the card. Now, I think you saw before I was kind of struggling with whether or not I was going to make it a horizontal or vertical card, but I settled with the vertical. So I'm just putting a piece of adhesive through the whole entire strip, and then I'm going to center it, stick it down, trim off the edges, and glue it to the card base. And like I said before, I recreated this card, and I added some shimmer onto the berries. You can do that with some Wink of Stella or with stickles, or just to give a little bit of a glittery touch to it. And that is the finished card. I hope you find some inspiration and will come back soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.